Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nadreen K. If you are new here, welcome. I upload 3 videos a week. This video today is the next one in my digital marketing career series. So if you are new and you are looking to pursue a career in digital marketing, then I will be covering and have covered loads of different disciplines within the field of digital marketing. So today we're talking about email marketing, and I'm just going to tell you a little bit about why it's such an important part of the digital marketing mix, and how you as a business owner, as a marketeer, can use email to drive sales, increase your return on investment, and really just interact with your customers and prospects. So if you like the sound of that, do 2 things for me. Subscribe and make sure that you have your post notifications turned on so you don't miss the next video in the series. And 2, come and follow me on Instagram if you have any further questions. I'm quite good at responding to all my comments, but generally if you want to ask a bit more in-depth questions, I've had loads of you guys reach out to me on Instagram, and I've kind of been sort of having nice like DM chats with you. So it's at Nadreen K across all channels, and that is on Instagram, Twitter and Snapchat. So let's get into the video. Email marketing. So this is actually pretty much where I started to get the bulk of my marketing career experience. So I always like to start by defining the concept. So email marketing is really, it's all in the name. It's using the channel of email, or direct mail as it used to be called, to connect with potential customers, prospects and existing customers. And generally why a business would use email marketing is to share content with the people in their email marketing database, and that's just essentially all of the list of people's contact information, their email addresses, and other data that you've gathered about them. So business would want to share content, drive traffic back to the website, and also to drive sales ultimately. So email marketing is a very, very effective channel particularly for driving sales. And I say that because in my experience, email has been one of our #1 channels for driving leads in any form in sort of previous roles that I've had. So it's quite an important way to, one, remind your existing customers, what you're doing, what new things you've got coming out in terms of products and services, invite them to events, or kind of get them to register for things that you've got coming up, and really to essentially nurture people who are not existing customers down to the point where they are ready to make a decision to purchase. So I suppose there are a number of different things we can talk about, but let's talk about platforms. So email marketing platforms is a very important part of any digital marketer's skill set, and so you want to have experience with at least one well-known email marketing platform if you're trying to kind of get into the field. So I guess there are like free alternatives. So like MailChimp is a very well-known free email marketing software, so if you've got experience with that, then it's generally easier to kind of upgrade into more marketing automation systems, as they would be called. And that's just a fancy word for email marketing systems that allow you to do more personalization, more segmentation, and more automation in terms of sending out your email campaigns. And I'll explain all of those concepts as well. So I guess the more sophisticated email platforms would be things like Pardot, which is I think owned by Salesforce, Marketo, Eloqua, which is owned by Oracle. I guess those would be the main ones. I guess a lot of people use the Adobe marketing suite. I've not had a lot of experience with that, but generally speaking, most jobs that I've applied for in the past, they've asked for experience with either Eloqua or Marketo, and very recently Pardot. So yeah, I guess getting experience or getting a qualification in any of those platforms, or having experience having used them, is always really helpful. So that's everything in terms of platforms and tech. In terms of email marketing concepts and ways to like have success in your email marketing campaigns, there are a few things that a marketeer or a business needs to consider. One will be your database. So you know, do you have a database of people that you can contact, whether that's customers or, you know, potential customers that you can market to? And your database and how good that data is will be the make and break of any email campaign that you choose to kind of go on and make. So one, making sure that you have up-to-date and clean data is important, but two, making sure that you are complying with data regulations. So a big data regulation that came into force very recently is GDPR, which is the General Data Protection Regulation. So this was just an update to the Data Protection Act. I think it just tightens data protection laws so that if anybody is receiving an email from a business, they have the ability to have opted into receiving that email. So I think while email in the past was very much, you know, so long as you provide your details, we can email you. We've moved now more towards a very strict way of viewing data, which is you have to explicitly consent to receiving and opt in to receiving emails from an organization. So you'll probably have seen, I think probably around this time last year or the year before, loads of companies emailing their database, and you probably have a lot of those emails in your junk mail, just to opt you into receiving their communications going forward. So, you know, GDPR is really all about, you know, explicit consent and, you know, also the legitimate use of people's data, so that you're not just getting, you know, even if you have opted in, that the emails that you're receiving are, and the data that a company holds about you is for legitimate purposes. So, you know, for like, you know, if you're an existing customer, you can be emailed about product updates and service updates, etc. So data protection regulations, as well as a strong and clean database, is key. And so a lot of times as a marketeer, you might need to have experience with a CRM system. So a CRM is a customer relationship management system. So that is kind of where the business will hold all of its data about its clients, potential clients, and, you know, kind of have all the information around what products they've bought from you in the past, deal values, etc. So most people use Salesforce, and there's also Microsoft Dynamics CRM, and probably loads of others that I don't know, but Salesforce is very widely used. And so generally speaking, your email marketing system will speak to your CRM, because that's kind of where all the data is pulled to. And there's a lot of clever things that you can do in terms of showing what email campaigns somebody has received or opened or clicked on in a CRM, so long as there's that good integration. So that's why, you know, if you have Salesforce, generally Pardot will be a good option, although, you know, Marketo and Eloqua also have pretty good integrations with Salesforce too. So yeah, that's kind of all around data. And then when you kind of get into actually sending campaigns, you want them to be impactful, and you want them to really speak to your, you know, target audience or the people that you're sending them to. And so therefore, this is kind of where segmentation comes in. So segmentation is basically chunking your data up into different segments and sending them emails based on, you know, what target or what group they fall into. So for example, you might want to drive sales in a particular region, let's say in Europe. So let's say you segment your audience by contacts in your database that are in Europe, for example. So, you know, I guess generally speaking, as a business, as a marketeer, you sort of want to move away from the mass email campaigns, because generally speaking, unless it's something that everybody needs to know, it's going to be relevant for everybody. Let's say it's like a customer mail out. Those are very specific circumstances in which you would need to mail your whole customer database, like, you know, to let them know about an outage or some downtime or whatever. Generally speaking, you want to send segmented or targeted emails to particular groups of people, so that those receiving the email kind of feel like it's relevant to them. And so I definitely think the campaigns that perform the best are well targeted, but also customized and personalized. So a lot of email marketing platforms will allow you to personalize your email by, you know, adding in data points or pulling in data points from your database. So for example, hi, first name will allow you to pull through that person's first name from your database, so that you're kind of addressing the email to a person. Some email platforms also allow you to do that customization in the subject line, and then some email platforms go as far as to allow you to switch out different content blocks. So like, let's say for example, the first 2 paragraphs you want to send to a big group in your database, but you want the paragraphs to differ based on what industry that person is in. So let's say you're sending a mass email to all your contacts in the United States, but you want the first paragraph to talk about challenges that they might be facing in their industry. And so you can kind of set up, it's called dynamic content in Eloqua, which is another email marketing platform, but that content will dynamically, you kind of put in 2 alternatives. So one content block for people within the I don't know, manufacturing industry, and then the same content but kind of switched out a little bit for people in the retail industry. And then it kind of looks like you've really kind of taken time to personalize and customize this message so that it's relevant for your end user. And then perhaps the call to action might be different. So the call to action is basically what you're asking people to do. And so in email marketing, you might have one call to action for everybody. You might have a different call to action for different people. You might have 2 different calls to action within the body of the email. But ultimately, once you've targeted your email to the right people, you've personalized it, you want to drive them to take an action. So that's a key thing. Most times, a lot of campaigns center around somebody downloading a piece of content, somebody registering for an event, somebody signing up to get a free demo. But if you're more of like a B2C type business or B2C marketeer for a B2C business, you would probably be driving somebody to your site to check out a new product or service. So a strong call to action, a good subject line is also important. A subject line in email marketing is like a thumbnail in YouTube. What is going to get somebody to open that email? And there are a lot of, I guess, theories around words not to include in your subject line, like urgent or exclamation marks, and you kind of test and you do what works for you. So what a lot of really good marketers do is A/B test, which is basically test 2 different variants, or test the same email but vary something within it. So you can vary the subject line, send a test to a sample group of like 20% of your audience size, and then the winning subject line, i.e. the subject line that gets the most click-throughs, then delivers to the rest of the 80%. So there's loads you can do, and any good email marketing platform should allow you to do some A/B testing. And then really, I guess it's about collecting. Any good email marketing program will involve collecting data about your, your customers, potential customers, your contacts over time, and beginning to continue to personalize the emails to them. And then the final thing that I guess I'll talk about is really around automation. I've been talking about all of these sophisticated platforms having automation capabilities, but what that means is that you're able to take people on a journey. So when you get a new contact, instead of just sending them one email or not sending them any emails at all, you kind of put them in a program which basically sends them an email periodically, so like once every 3 weeks. So maybe you start them off with some content or a video, or invite them to an event, or to get a free demo, like in a sequence that basically moves them down the sales funnel. That would be the ultimate goal for a marketer, to get their email marketing program to get to, where it's automated, it's personalized, it's targeted at the right people, and the data is clean enough to be able to, do that sort of thing. So that's email marketing in a nutshell. If I find any useful resources for you guys, I will leave them down below. But really, the platforms I mentioned are what you want to get experience in. Best practice for your industry in terms of what subject lines work well, what types of content works well. And yeah, it's all about driving sales, driving traffic back to the website, driving views on content, and keeping your data engaged with you so that eventually they're considering to purchase something, then they're happy to. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that was helpful. Please do come back next week Tuesday for the next video in the digital marketing series. Otherwise I will have uploaded a separate video today which will just be around like YouTube and my YouTube earnings, which is totally separate to this series. But if you're interested in knowing that, then do come back. Make sure you're subscribed though. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.